Hello there, I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Thank you for waking up with Wesley. We are going to take a look at today's forecast for this Wednesday. Made it to Wednesday. It is Wednesday, the April 23rd, 2025, and as we're halfway through the week after Easter, we are still right in the spring swing of things with spring-like temperatures and April showers each day. It's like exactly what you would expect in that regard. But there are some things you might not expect. One of them is that our heat index is starting to climb. I think a little earlier than usual. So we'll take a look at who could see a heat index around 90 degrees. And we'll also take a look at today's rain chances to see who could get some of those April showers. So without further ado, let's start off with a look at the time lapse. This is from this morning in Biloxi. And we're looking off toward the west. Do you see those tall clouds west of Biloxi? Those are actually rain showers over in western Harrison County. So areas to the west of Gulfport, seeing some rain this morning, and we can see those rain clouds all the way from Biloxi. Here's a more zoomed in view, full screen view rather, of that time lapse. And you can just see those clouds there, especially the taller ones in the back. That are indicative of rain showers developing. So that's one thing that we're going to focus on today, the potential for more of those rain chances, along with the warm and humid air. Let's take a look at the first alert radar right now. Is it raining in your town, in your neck of the woods? And for many of you, the answer is no. Like in Pearl River County, where there's no rain to be found anywhere across the entire county. And Hancock County also looks to be completely rain-free at this moment in time as of 8:39. Now, Harrison County, different story. It is pouring in the pass. So we do have a shower there in Pass Christian, and that's going up toward DeLille. There also is a downpour just north of I-10 near Long Beach, and a few more rain showers at Lizana. I don't know what it is about this area, but we've been seeing frequent showers basically in this area near and west of Highway 49 and near and east of the Hancock Harrison County line. So basically this is the second or third day in a row where areas near Pass Christian, Long Beach, Nido, Lizana, DeLille have all seen these rain showers. They're continuing to develop from the Gulf, from the Sound, and they are moving inland toward the north. So might not get these particular showers closer to Biloxi, but we'll see if maybe some more develop later this morning. So in Stone County, we'll see how far up these can come from Harrison County, but looks like for areas that are near or to the west of Highway 49, you might begin to see some of those rolling in from the south as we go to the next hour or so. Now in George County, looks like there's not much rain happening. And in Jackson County, there was a shower in Pascagoula earlier this hour. Looks like that has fallen apart. A little bitty shower there near Gulf Park Estates, but not much else. So big picture, as we zoom out, we can see your eyes are probably drawn to this large area of rain showers and thunderstorms over Texas. This is slowly drifting toward the east. But there is a question of whether it will be able to make it very far east, because there's actually a blocking ridge of high pressure located near the East Gulf. And so as this area of thunderstorms gets closer and closer to that high pressure, we're probably going to see some of these fall apart as they move closer to Louisiana and closer to Mississippi. Now, before that even gets here, you can already see some of these little pop-up showers in South Mississippi. So before that area in Texas is even a concern, we can actually see some of these pop-ups. So let's take a look at the futurecast and type this out for you. So the Texas storms, those probably won't make it to the Mississippi state line until maybe later this evening. So before they get here, we're just going to be monitoring for pop-up showers and storms. So if you have some plans on Wednesday morning, keep an eye out for some of these that will be popping up in the local area. This could continue into late morning and the early afternoon. You can see some of these near South Mississippi long before anything from Texas comes our way. Now, as we go to the afternoon, still see our local pop-up showers and storms in parts of South Mississippi. This continues at times on Wednesday afternoon. Now we get to Wednesday evening, and the question is, okay, all of this stuff from Texas, well, it's now in Louisiana. Where's it going to go? Is it going to come straight for our Mississippi coast, or is it going to take a track a little bit more up toward the north and west, or north and east? And the reason why I think it could take a track a little bit more to the north and east is because, like I told you, there's a kind of a bubble of high pressure located near the East Gulf. And with the clockwise wind flow around that, the circulation might help to steer those storms a little bit more to the north of our coastline. So we'll see exactly what happens. But I am at least seeing in this particular computer model the majority of the action kind of taking place to the north. So it looks like, again, by 7 p.m., you've got most of these showers and storms located about there. And I think they're going to be just to the north of our coastline. What happens if we type it out to 10 p.m.? And that's exactly what you're seeing. Looks like they're closer to Memphis and Jackson as they kind of take a track just to the north of our coastline. So we'll see how close they get. But right now, it looks like might spare us on the coast. So as far as today is concerned, looking at high temperatures in the lower 80s, some hit or miss storms. Maybe any one of us could see them. Nobody has a 0% rain chance, but I do think that the slightly higher rain chances could be for areas to the north of I-10, and maybe the slightly lower rain chances for areas a little bit closer to the beaches. You can see for the next 6 hours, this is what our forecast shows, that chance for rain generally holding steady at 50% for areas like Wiggins, Saucier, Van Cleve. That's that 50% you see there for the inland areas. And then holding at 30% for the coastal areas, so places like Bay St. Louis, Ocean Springs, Pass Christian, Long Beach, parts of Gulfport and Biloxi, that 30% there, generally for areas generally to the south of I-10. And we can kind of show you this. Here's a look at the 8 o'clock hour. And you can see, again, some showers in some spots, but maybe the majority of them, generally north of I-10, where those higher chances are. This continues to be the case by 10 in the morning, seeing even more showers developing, perhaps the majority of them taking place to the north of I-10. It doesn't mean it's going to be bone dry for the beaches. There's not a 0% chance for Gulfport, Biloxi. It's just that the higher chances are a little to the north. There's a look at 1 in the afternoon. Because we're going to see a wind pushing from the Gulf, that could help to kind of push some of the rain to the north of the coast. So the longer we go into the afternoon, perhaps the more north most of this stuff wants to be pushed. So that by the time we're by 4 p.m., maybe we don't have much in our 6 southernmost counties. Maybe most of it is going north of us up into the Pine Belt instead of down along the coast. And then there's 7 p.m., maybe a lull in the activity, but don't be surprised if maybe later in the evening, 10 p.m., we might see some of the decaying showers coming from that Texas complex into parts of the region. So don't be caught off guard by that. So our forecast into the next 7 days looks like this. We're expecting those chances for rain to continue today that 30 to 50% chance, but then gradually seeing lower chances so that by the time we get to the weekend, the chances are expected to drop. We can see them down to 20% on Thursday, Friday, down to 10% on Saturday and Sunday, and then maybe even lower than that by the time we get to next Monday, Tuesday. So overall, looking at that decreasing rain chance trend, but just keep in mind that the temperatures might respond to that. It might actually come up a little bit over the weekend, seeing those highs creeping up by a few degrees, mainly in the mid and upper 80s on Saturday, Sunday, instead of the mid to lower 80s like we'll have today on Wednesday. And keep in mind, any one of these days here, because of how humid the air is, we could see a heat index around 90. I was showing that this morning on Good Morning Mississippi, and I do briefly before we go want to show you that heat index chart that I developed for the area. So let's take a look at that. Here it is. So you can see today those heat index numbers climbing to the mid 80s around 2 p.m. or so. And that's basically, this is for the Gulfport, Biloxi area. So if we fast forward this to around 2 p.m., you can see the heat index numbers in the mid and upper 80s. Around 3 p.m., some places, maybe Lucedale, might have a heat index not too far from 90, maybe Slidell, maybe Mobile. So some of us could see a heat index close to 90, and I just want you to understand that that could be the case for any of these days. Now through the weekend, the heat index in a few spots could pop close to 90 degrees. So kind of that summer feel, even though the temperatures are staying below 90, the heat index could actually approach 90 any day in a few spots for the next several days. So keep that in mind. All right, well, that'll do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist